We
I
can go ahead.
apologize for my technical issues today.
No worries.
Get started.
No worries. Sometimes that's how it goes. So, well, good morning, everyone, and hope all of you are having a wonderful day. I'm going to go ahead and call to order this morning's special board meeting, and I'm going to pass it to Director Douglas to call roll, please.
Thank you. Chair Taylor,
Present.
Vice Chair Wyatt,
Here.
Director Vidal,
Present.
Director Sloop,
Here.
Director Shoemaker.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we are conducting this meeting this morning due to an issue that we're having inside of our school district with a contractor. So I'm not going to get too far down the rabbit hole with it, other than I'm going to pass it to Pat McGuff to lead us through some of the current events that have taken place, and we will go from there. So Pat, I'm going to give it to you right away. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Director Taylor. Thank you, board, for meeting on such short notice. The reason that we requested this meeting was to provide the board and the public with an update regarding the construction at Frog Pond Primary School. Purpose of the meeting is to inform the board that the district has declared a contractor default with Emmerich Construction, and the contract will be terminated in 7 days. That's according to contract language. Before you is a memo that describes the actions that have been taken on the contract with Emmerich Construction. While I won't read the memo verbatim, I will use much of it to describe the history and the steps that have been taken to bring us to the notice of default of the construction with Emmerich. So the project began with a request for proposal that was due on December 15th, 2022 to pre-qualify contractors to submit bids for Frog Pond. That process has been used throughout the district's history to ensure that contractors that bid on district projects have a demonstrated history of successful project completion. A scoring system is used to rate the overall quality of each contractor's proposal, their project experience, project staffing, management summary, supply chain management, value added, and litigation history. A total of 6 contractors submitted their qualifications, with 5 meeting the criteria to become qualified bidders. For Frog Pond, 4 of those 5 submitted sealed bids for the construction project. Oregon law at that point dictates that the district must accept the lowest qualified bid. Emmerich Construction was awarded the construction contract as the lowest responsive and responsible bidder to build the new Frog Pond Primary School on April 17th, 2023 by board resolution number 2022-12. Construction broke ground in June of 2023 and work progressed normally through March of 2024. In April of 2024, the district began receiving unsolicited communications from subcontractors claiming that Emmerich was not paying their invoices or their pay applications for work performed by those subcontractors. By September, the district had received 33 separate subcontractor and supplier communications, all unsolicited, each claiming that Emmerich had not paid for their work. No significant progress has been made on the project since October 1st, as contractors have pulled off the job site, and there have not been more than 10 people on site for the majority of the days, and usually 4 to 6 people on most of them. It's important to note that the district has only one contract, and that is with Emmerich. The district does not have any contractual connection with subcontractors and has no authority or ability to pay them directly. If the district engaged directly with subcontractors, Emmerich Construction could be able to claim that the district has interfered with their contract with their subcontractors and created the default. The contract between Emmerich and the district does have language that grants the district the right to request written evidence from Emmerich that they have properly paid subcontractors. The district sent numerous letters to Emmerich asking them to address those concerns. Emmerich failed to provide any statement or proof that they've made payment to subcontractors. By withholding money from subcontractors without notice to the district that there is a bona fide dispute in invoicing and pay applications with subcontractors, Emmerich is in violation of ORS 279C.580. Non-payment of subcontractors is also a violation of the contract itself and the payment bond. Emmerich has been non-responsive to demands to produce proof of payment to subcontractors. The district has paid every compliant payment application submitted by Emmerich through November of 2024. On December 2nd, the district received a letter from the legal representatives of Zurich, who is the payment and performance bond surety, directing the district to withhold funds for all future payments. The letter states, recent events have prompted this letter, which serves as a formal request that all funds on the above referenced bond contract, including final disbursement, be withheld from Emmerich and be directed to Zurich as assignee and attorney in fact for Emmerich. Zurich will ensure protection and proper disbursement of the project funds to any subcontractors and or vendors that are owed money on the project. As a result of that, the district declared Emmerich Construction in default of the contract. That declaration is required for termination, which will occur in 7 days after this declaration. That brings us to the next steps on what is necessary to complete the construction of the project. With the declaration of default, the payment and performance surety, Zurich, now has the responsibility to address claims made by subcontractors for non-payment. That's covered under the payment bond. And to complete the construction of the school. That is covered under the performance bond. They are two separate, distinct legal bonds. The district is obligated to pay the remaining fund balance under the construction contract to Zurich, but has no responsibility to pay any additional funds associated with the increased cost to complete the school. Under the performance bond, Zurich has a number of options available to them to complete the work, and I have paraphrased those out of the bond contract language itself, but they essentially boil down to these 5 options. One is to arrange for a contractor to complete the construction. 2 is to undertake the construction contract itself and perform the work. 3 is to obtain bids or negotiated proposals from qualified contractors acceptable to the district. The 4th one is to negotiate an outright settlement with the district. Or the 5th is to deny liability. In our communications up to this point with Zurich and their legal counsel, the district has confidence that Zurich will accept liability and complete the work using one of the 4 first options identified above. The district will not be responsible for any additional cost to complete the work. And I want to emphasize that there will be new costs in bringing in a team, a new management team, perhaps new subcontractors. All of those additional costs are borne by Zurich. As a result of this declaration of notice of default, while the completion of the school is assured, the timing is not. The completion relies on 2 separate and distinct courses of action moving forward. The first is the actual completion of all the construction activities that are necessary. The timeline for those can reasonably be projected once the work fully resumes. However, the second course of action involves a legal process with both prescribed timelines for legal action and unknowable delays. There are negotiations with Zurich that cannot formally begin until the contract is terminated. Reaching an agreement with the district will take time. Mobilizing a new construction management team, assessing the status of the current construction progress, and negotiating either new or existing subcontractors to complete the work will also take time. Some permits have been secured by the original subcontractors that the work can only be performed under their trade license. And I will use an example of the electrical permit. That subcontractor pulls the permit. If they do not return to this job, a whole new process will be required to get a new permit with a new subcontractor. Anecdotally, some subcontractors have informed the district that they have pulled all their material off the job and they intend to sell it because they have not been paid for it and their bills are due. Some of the items are long lead items that will require more time for delivery to the project site and cannot be predicted. With all of the known time delays and the unknowable potential unforeseen delays for restarting the project, the operations department cannot give assurance that the school will be completed in time for the 2025-2026 school year. Of course, the district has internal processes that are necessary for the opening of any school, such as redrawing boundaries, hiring and reallocating staff, drawing up bus routes, all of the things that go into the normal opening of school. And it just is difficult to prudently plan around that kind of uncertainty. We must know that a school is ready to be open in order to inform parents and staff that it will be ready. And we cannot give that assurance today. So we are recommending that the opening of Frog Pond be delayed for until the 2026-2027 school years. Before I close, I'd like to address probably the 3 questions that will come forward and that the parents in the community would at least like addressed here. And the first one is regarding connection of this declaration to the construction at Athey Creek Middle School and Willamette Falls Drive. Emmerich is the contractor on that project as well. And while the district has been addressing many of these same issues with Emmerich, it is on a different timeline than Frog Pond. It's separate, and the status of that project has different circumstances, and it will follow a different timeline. However, the district did receive the same letter from Zurich's legal team about redirecting all payments to that project to Zurich. So while it is on a different timeline, every indication is that it's following the same path as Frog Pond. The second issue or the second question that is likely to come forward is the impact on the operating budget. The funding source for the construction of Frog Pond is from the 2019 general obligation bond, and it has no direct connection to the operating budget. While there are some deferred costs in the operating budget for the 25-26 budget year, the two budgets are independent of each other. The decision to declare default was not made to provide any relief to the operating budget. The last and probably the most high-profile question that will come is there any connection to the Small Schools Task Force? While it's understandable that people will make this connection, the decision to declare notice of default is independent of any other decision. Frog Pond Primary is located in Wilsonville, is being built to accommodate projected growth and an increase in the number of students. The delay of opening of 1 year will not create current overcrowding in the Wilsonville area. We do have the ability to compensate for that. Again, it's understandable to make the connection around the Small Schools Task Force fact-finding. But I can say with absolute certainty, they are not connected. This action could have taken place in August, before the beginning of the Small Schools Task Force. It could have taken place in February at the conclusion of that. It happened to take place in December. And I understand that folks may want to draw that line, but they are not related in any way. And with that, I'm available. I'm open to questions.
Okay. Dr. Ludwig, you look like you had something that you wanted to say.
I was just going to say that what we will need from the board is a motion.
Motion, correct.
We'll open whether you want to do a motion and then discussion, or whether you just want to have a time for questions to Pat McGuff, and then if anyone feels ready to make a motion. But we will be looking for some type of action from the board at the conclusion of this meeting.
Got you. So what I would say is that I'm going to go ahead and look for a motion prior to us having discussion and questions. It's important for people who are listening to know that, we do have executive sessions where we're able to get more information prior to it being presented. And just with the information that we've been able to receive from Pat and what we know of the situation, I'm more than happy to have someone make a motion, then we can discuss it. And from that point, and ask questions and go as far in depth as we want. And from that point, collectively as a board, we can then pass a vote on the motion that is presented. So would someone like to make a motion, and then I'll open it up for discussion? Director Sloop? Your hand's up, so.
Oh, yeah, I'll take it down. I have a question.
Okay. Anyone willing to
I can make the motion if you like.
please, thank you.
Yeah, I would motion that we delay the upcoming opening of Frog Pond Primary School to school year 2026-27.
Okay, and do we have a second?
I can second that, yes.
Okay, now we'll open it up for questions and discussion. So Director Sloop, I know you had your hand up, so we'll start with you.
All right. Two questions. One is approximately ballpark, what is the percentage of completion that Frog Pond currently is at? And what is the amount that we would be paying over to Zurich?
Thank you. There is a process that as a project moves forward, they do track percentages of the completion of work. Each craft trade has a different standing in that. One might be at 60%, one might be at 90%. Overall, we've paid out approximately 80% of the contract value. It's a little subjective at this point. The project meeting schedule of values has the exact, but overall, I would put it in that range, 70 to 80%. The second question that you asked, at this point, we have approximately 6 million, just short of $6 million remaining, $598,200 remaining on the value of the contract. That would be paid out in a similar fashion to how it is paid out now. As they make progress, there would be pay applications, and the difference is they will not go to Emmerich. They will now be controlled and directed by the bond surety, Zurich. Whether they're made directly to Zurich or directly to the project management team they bring in is yet to be determined.
All right. Does that answer your question, Director Sloop? Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Director Shoemaker.
Thanks. Pat, if you wouldn't mind addressing quality checks real quick. I'm a little concerned that if we've had subcontractors who haven't been paid for some time and then have left the job, I'm a little worried about the quality of the last work they did, for instance.
Yeah, and I can certainly appreciate that. From the actual work standpoint, the project has been moving along in what I would term as a normal fashion. That includes our project management team, our architects team. They have weekly, what are called OAC meetings, owner, architect, and contractor meetings. They will identify quality issues and note in their minutes corrective actions that are taken. We are fairly confident at this point that the quality of the work has been acceptable, but that is part of the assessment project process that the new project management team will bring in with Zurich. They will make that assessment, but between our architectural team and our project management, they are the ones that assure high quality products when the school is built.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Director Shoemaker?
Yeah, yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
I had a question about the Wilsonville primary school's capacity if we don't open Frog Pond and if they have enough capacity for those students.
So I might ask Dr. Pryor to maybe address that. That's in his wheelhouse there.
Yeah, thank you, Pat. And that's an excellent question, Director Vidal. We have been closely monitoring the enrollment We are seeing a steady increase of enrollment at Beckman Creek due to the development at Frog Pond. However, we are still well within capacity to absorb those students for one more year. We have some classroom space that is not currently being used as a classroom that we can repurpose if needed. If we also needed to, we do have modular classrooms on site that are currently being used for other district programs. And as a last resort, that building, which sits behind Beckman and has served as classrooms before during their peak of enrollment, could also be used. So we have plans to be able to accommodate children for one more year as a result of whatever decision the board.
Yep.
Chris Rice sent us an email yesterday.
Call you right back. Sorry. Oh, can't hear you. All right, sorry about that. Chaos in my office. Thought I had my do not disturb on. Any other questions? All right, so if there are no other questions or topics for discussion, I will pass it to Director Douglas to conduct the vote.
Thank you, sir. Chair Taylor,
Yes, aye.
Vice Chair Wyatt,
Aye.
Director Sloop,
Aye.
Director Vidal,
Aye.
Director Shoemaker.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Ludwig?
Yeah, so I'd just like a couple comments before we conclude the meeting. First, while I know this is an incredibly challenging and disappointing information to hear and a difficult decision to make for everyone, I do want to thank Pat McGuff and Remo Douglas and his team for an exceptional amount of work and attention to detail of process, working with our attorneys as need be, and following contract law throughout this process. There's a lot to pay attention to, and a lot of moving parts. And no one starts a project thinking this is going to be where we might be, and yet it has happened. And I just want to thank Pat McGuff and his team for working through this in a way that has had integrity on behalf of the school district and incredible responsibility towards the stewardship of our patrons and our community. And so I want to thank Pat for that. Additionally, Andrew Kihlstrom will be releasing a press release. We know this is a big decision, and it will also be of public interest and notice. And so we will be issuing a press release on behalf of the school district shortly after this meeting, declaring what has occurred. So our community has that transparency, as well as the decision by the board. It won't be the only communication. There will be subsequent communication out to schools following this more formal communication. So you can expect that our communities will begin to hear about this, and the questions that they may have will begin to be addressed as we move along. And we'll keep updates accordingly to our community as we do complete the school. So with that, Pat, if you had anything else, we could end the meeting here.
Yeah, I appreciate the credit, but I want to say out loud, between Remo Douglas and Amy Berger and Nick Reiner and Angie, they've worked incredibly hard to get us to this point and make sure that the district has the lowest risk possible and can move forward. And so I want to make sure that their efforts were noted here.
Absolutely. Thank you. And back to you, Chair Taylor.
All right. Thank you all. I appreciate you taking time out of your Fridays to bring this all together. I know this was fairly last minute, and anytime you have to throw a last second meeting together, especially on a Friday around the holidays, can be difficult. So everyone said that we appreciate you all making time and dealing with my chaos in the background of my office. So as my notifications come through and phone calls come in. So thank you all. Have a wonderful weekend, and go Ducks.